Good morning, Panthers. I'm Daniel Dang. Welcome to the morning announcement. Today is Friday, February 26th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our planetary pledge. This helps us to be remember to be safe, be respectful, and be an avid learner. As a Seminole Trails Panther, I will conduct myself at all times, in all places, with honor and respect for myself, my classmates, my teachers, my school, and my community. Today's lunch menu is meatball sub, blueberry muffin platter, carrot sticks, assorted milk, and assorted fruit selections. Now here is Rajan for the weather.
Good morning, Panthers. I'm Rajan Edmond for today's weather. It is currently 64 degrees with a high of 82 degrees, low of 64 degrees, and a 0% chance of rain. And tomorrow's high will be 82 with low of 72 and a 0% chance of rain. Today, we are highlighting Daniel Hale Williams. He was an American general surgeon who in the 1893 performed the first documented successful heart surgery in the U.S. to repair a wound. Now back to Miss Lowe.
Good morning, Panthers, and happy Friday. Today we are giving out digital badges to students who are showing that they are ready to learn. So congratulations to the following students. Justin Ronalds from Miss Delva, Angela Hong from Miss Dale Gordon, Davia McKenzie from Mr. Gretzinger, Michaela Shipman from Miss Red Lake and Miss Bunn this week, Aiden Rivero from Miss Joseph, Malachi Du Bois from Miss Kreidler, Roman Arias from Miss Kroll, Lee Adrian Balaam from Miss Budden, Alexander Pierre from Miss Germany, Rakeem Chambers from Dr. Case, Gabriel James from Miss Von Patterson, Michael Levi Johnson from Miss Mercer, Jadine Whitelock from Miss Payne, Kenlyn Mule from Miss Hahn, Corman St. Hilaire from Miss Hunt, Jaden Smith from Miss Godwin, Abigail Oslis from Miss Dobular, Talia Matthews from Miss Wong, Marcus Holman from Miss Cohen, Wilbert Joseph from Miss Gray, Jaden Karn from Miss Flores, Ayman Abbas from Miss Emnett, Kaden McLaurin from Miss Gray, Elaine Felipe from Miss Hegedus, Kimberly Elaine from Miss Bickle, Leandro Roblero Batista from Miss Bassford, Rowan Price from Miss Fox, Ashton Lewis from Miss Gale, Tyler Jean Charles from Miss Bersenio, and Aaliyah Simmons from Mr. Beeson. Congratulations to all of you. We have a special winner today that got all 4 digital badges. Congratulations, Corman St. Hilaire from Miss Hunt's class. You earned a spot on our Wall of Fame, and you get to pick a gift card to anywhere you want for $5. So I am going to see you today to congratulate you, and I hope I have some new people to put up on my bulletin board next week. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all on Monday.
In an era where many believed a hospital to serve black people was considered not necessary, Daniel Hale Williams strived against many obstacles to establish the foundation for black medical care to be possible. Born January 18, 1856, in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, his father was a barber and owned real estate, which allowed his family to grow up in a middle-class home. At the age of 11, after his father had passed away, Daniel was taken out of school and sent to Baltimore, Maryland to live with relatives as his mother struggled to support the family. Daniel would open up his own barber shop, having learned how to cut hair from his father growing up. However, the business would fail and he ended up working for another already established barbershop. Daniel would juggle working at the barbershop while continuing his studies. Unable to decide what area he wanted to work in, Daniel would try his hand at a number of fields, but it was not until he became an apprentice for Dr. Henry W. Palmer it would spark his fascination into medicine. Daniel studied with Palmer for 2 years, when in 1880 he entered the Chicago Medical College, which was later renamed as Northwestern University Medical School. Daniel was the only black person in the medical school, as around this time there were no training schools for black nurses and doctors. Now immersed in his medical studies, he gained clinical experience at the Southside Dispensary Mary Hospital, and he went on to graduate in 1883. He opened up his very own practice in the Southside neighborhood, a mixed area with black and white families. Daniel used his practice to teach and demonstrate anatomy at the Chicago Medical School from 1885 to 1888. Some of the physicians who he taught were black. However, none of the established hospitals in Chicago would grant licenses to black physicians. Daniel was now driven to open up his own practice, not restricted by race. Daniel organized rallies to collect donations and won over many business owners, both black and white owned, including Frederick Douglass, a prominent black activist and public speaker. As well as donations of money, there were donations of equipment and supplies, and in May 1891, Williams opened the Provident Hospital training school for nurses. He took the name Provident Hospital from the concept of "the Lord will provide." Williams had always been a very religious man. 1893 would mark the year that Williams became known as the first African American to have successfully performed heart surgery to repair an injury. On July of that year, a young man named James Cornish was admitted to the Provident Hospital with stab wounds across his chest and near to his heart. Bleeding incessantly, Williams was forced to operate. We won't go into the details of the operation, but Williams managed to control the bleeding and close the wound. To attempt such a procedure in those times had high risk, and Williams knew if it had failed, his public image and the hospital would be ruined. However, the patient walked out of the hospital a month later. This incredible feat was featured in a national newspaper article in Chicago, improving the hospital's reputation and excelling Williams' name. 1894 would see Williams move to Washington, D.C., where he was appointed the chief surgeon of Freeman's Hospital, a facility dedicated to treating formerly enslaved African Americans. In 1895, Williams helped co-found the National Medical Association, which would serve as a professional organization for black medical practitioners. Then in 1913, Williams became a charter member of the American College for Surgeons. Williams worked to create more hospitals that admitted African Americans throughout his remaining years. Daniel Harry Williams, his legacy now ingrained as one of the most prominent African American surgeons in America in the late 19th and early 20th century, never letting adversity stand in the way of advocating for equal access to medical care.